Hello there. In today's video we are going to be making a nail. It's not the most glamorous blacksmithing project, but nails are a useful thing. To begin with, I'm just tapering it down. I'm making an old-fashioned door, so I thought I would use traditional nails. I've only made a little over 2 dozen of them at this point, so I'm by no means an expert. You want to try and get a very even taper along the length of the nail. Any thin spots in the middle will make the nail more likely to bend. To judge how close the nail is, I try fitting it into the nail header. I need the nail to go through the header almost to the width of my anvil. The nail header is just a piece of flat stock with a set of tapered rectangular holes in the top. I made it by drilling some holes and then using some antique nails to drift them into the right shape. Making nails without a nail header is a nightmare and I don't recommend it. You have to be very precise when tapering the nails. If you make them a little bit too thin, they'll just slide through the header. If you make them a little bit too thick, they'll either end up short and stubby or with a really ugly head. Something I've found useful is to use the corner of the anvil to forge a little shoulder into the nail. This will help prevent it from sliding through the header. I'm not setting any records for speed here. If I get going on a roll, I can make a nail in a couple of minutes. But there's nothing wrong with taking your time and doing it right. And this is pleasant work. Slow and steady wins the race. It's better to forge one nail well than to ruin two. It can be very difficult to judge the taper by eye, particularly when the metal is glowing bright. The nail header is very useful in judging what part of the nail needs working down. It'll be snug around whatever dimension is high and it'll be loose around whatever dimension is low. And it will cool the nail at the point where it's stuck so that you know where to strike. You don't want to work it too much when it's cold, it'll stress out the metal unnecessarily, but a little bit is fine. This one looks pretty close, so I'm going to move on to the next step. To cut the nail off, I'm using a hardy cutter. This is a bit like a chisel that sticks into the anvil. I'm using the hammer to mark where to cut. Tap, rotate, tap, rotate, tap, rotate. I want to cut on all 4 sides, most of the way through, but not all the way through, leaving just a little bit in the middle. The cutting bent it a little bit, so just straighten it out before I finish off. Not going to need the cutter anymore, so switch over to the nail header. To finish the cut, I stick the nail into the header and then twist it around to fatigue the metal. Then I stick the nail into the mouse hole, hammer it down a little bit, switch over to the ball peen, and then form the head. This is all easiest if you do it in one heat. By this point the nail will be wedged very firmly into the header. To release it, you quench the nail. This will cause it to rapidly contract from the header. And all going well, allow you to tap it out through the hardy hole. And there you have it. One nail. Only 99 to go. A very easy mistake to make is to taper the nail too much, such that you can drive it all the way through the header. This is a pain, but it's not difficult to fix. Using tongs, heat it up again, then transfer it into the header quickly. Then lightly clamp it in the post vise, tap the nail down to the desired depth, tighten up the post vise as tight as it'll go, then switch the hammer over to the peen end and form the head. All of this has to be done in the same heat. If it gets too cool, just start over and take another heat. Once you've got the head formed, you quench it and tap the nail out just as before. And there you go, another slightly less perfect nail. Once I've made a bunch of nails, I sort them into one of 3 categories. Ones where the heads are too big and need to be ground down, ones where the heads are too small and need to be gone over again, and the ones that are just right. And there you have it. Nice hand-forged nails.